And welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where we continue our discussion on Burkina Faso. And we've got a couple of questions on the table, but the big one is, why should Black Americans even care about what's going on across the waters in Burkina Faso? I'm going to say this real quick for me, that because our history has been buried, hidden, and everything else done to it, I think it's very, very important as Black Americans that not only do we understand our history in this country, but understand our history before slavery, the slave catchers got into Africa. We were doing tremendous things. And what I'm seeing in Burkina Faso and other countries, in some other countries in Africa, that those stories that were suppressed before the colonizers got to to Africa, we're seeing that this spirit of self-determination arising to match what happened before the slave catchers got to Africa. Thoughts?
You know,
You got it.
I look at this as something that's beginning to happen globally for Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
I see us turning the corner because of this Trump administration. I see Africa, what Tory's doing. It's like everybody's got a piece of the puzzle. And the things that we all have been lacking for so long seems to be coming back together. And I applaud that. The one thing that both Ghana and I don't know if Nigeria is doing it so much, you'd have to correct me on that, Caleb, but they're beginning to allow the expertise of the Black people in our country to be able to come and help them to build their country, which I think is all very important. And when you talk about, we don't know what's going to happen to us individually. I had somebody call me the other day. They said, hey, is your family from Jamaica? And I said, well, my father is, but they said they might deport you back to no birthright citizenship. So we don't know what's going to happen. And I think that you prepare a place and you use your expertise to help people who want you to help them.
Mm-hmm. So I on this one, there's a lot to be said. So there is.
And the other thing is, I'll let you go on.
Okay.
These are young leaders emerging. So I'll be the first to say it. I think a lot of our corporate Black politicians who have been there for years have lost connection as to what really needs to happen. They're tied in. And, I'll probably get either some applauses or some nah. But we have to let this younger generation emerge. We can't keep suppressing them because because we have lived. They want to live. Yeah. So allow these young black politicians and those who want to go into politics, let them emerge because they may be able to correct a lot of the things that need to be corrected.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So on this one, I mean, I think first thing, the Trump administration. We could just start from there. This man he says, if you're white and you're South African, welcome. You know what I mean? So if you look at history, they've always looked out for their folks. You know what I mean?
No apology.
None. You know what I mean? And so when war was raging in Europe, right? And this country didn't say, okay, we're gonna sit by. It doesn't matter to us because that's what no. We sent millions and millions and millions of people to stop white folks from killing each other, right? We stopped war in Europe. So this country has always, you know what I mean, when it came to white folks, been willing to step in and intercede and help. They did the Marshall Plan, right? We gotta rebuild Europe, and so it's are we the only folks who don't want to look out for our people? You know what I mean? They look out for theirs.
Wait a minute. Okay, I just want to repeat what you said. You said we've always sent people to go in to keep white folks from killing white folks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. They'll go intervene in Bosnia, while at the same time you have Rwanda going on. They didn't lift a finger for Rwanda. but they sure did intervene in Bosnia to stop white folks from killing each other. So I mean, they look out for themselves. Why are we the only people who don't, have a vested interest in our old country or where we come from?
Mr. Caleb, that is a question.
So, I mean, it's just, and you have people here that says, "Oh, well, we're different." We're not different. You know what I mean? And you have, it's a miseducation here. The same. I'm gonna say this, right? You see, I'm gonna give you an example. You see these people, right? They captured a killer whale, 19 whatever, and this killer whale that had generations of babies born in captivity, right? 3 or 4 generations, but you still see these white folks out there talking about, let him go, let him. He's still a killer whale,
right?
I don't care 3 or 4 generations away.
Right.
They took us from Africa. I don't care 4, 5, 6 generations. We're still African. The same logic that you apply to that killer whale needs to be applied to us through education and everything else, right? So when we try to say, well, we're still African, well, no, it's different. No, it's not. You know what I mean? You could take a lion out the jungle, he's still a lion. You walk in that cage, you gotta eat your ass up. You know what I mean? And so it's just this idea that we're different or we're separate or we have that's utterly ridiculous on its face. And we have an interest in seeing Africa uplifted. And it matters. What happens in Burkina Faso matters. What happens in this alliance of Sahel states, this emerging economy. Africa is going to be a continent of 2.8 billion people. It's going to be the largest economy in the world, bar none. The largest economy, the largest marketplace. And so even if you want to have an interest for selfish economic reasons, that's where the investment is. These people are over there investing. If you know Jamie Dimon and Chase Bank is over there opening offices, yes, like crazy. It's time to open offices. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you have Chase Bank over there, you have all of these different people who are trying to get into the market. You have KFC is over there, McDonald's is over there. Everybody's over there.
Also, Burkina Faso is tax-free.
So there you go.
If that's not motivating investors to come in.
I mean, it's good. Like I said, the largest marketplace. It has control of 40% of the world's gold, 90% of the world's platinum. I mean, just the sheer resources. If you want to go over there and invest, if you want to go over there and start a hotel, if you want to go over there and start an Airbnb, if you want to, whatever businesses you want to start, the opportunity is there for you to invest. And you go over there and you don't have to worry about your kids getting pulled over because they're black, because everybody's black. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry. You don't have to wonder. You know what I mean? Your politicians are black. The laws that are being made are not against you.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Sure. And so it's just go over there, take a trip, visit.
And that's refreshing just to know. I mean, that you can be in a place where you are welcomed. Okay.
Exactly.
And with that being said, we're going to have to end this show, but put your comments in there, share your thoughts. And with that being said, this is Contemporary Black Voices, where we tell our story, our way.